Hi, everyone. We want to welcome you to this very special webinar that we are giving. We're very fortunate to have a member from Double the Donation come and join us. So Julia Beltran, she will be with us today. I've attended Double the Donation's presentations before, and I really enjoy them. They give great content. I always learn something new, so I'm excited that you all are taking the time to join us today. I'm Susan Higgs. I'm the Director of Training here at Click and Pledge, so I'll be kicking things off. But I also want to point you to our Q&A area. Feel free throughout the presentation today to put your questions into the Q&A area. We have some members of our team watching that area, so they'll be answering your questions through that area. Also, probably at the end, we'll probably pull out a couple of questions and talk them through in case anybody else has any other questions as well. And before I pass everything off to Julia in just a moment, I thought I would go ahead and just ask a question. So I'm going to launch a poll, and I know people are still joining us, but hopefully at least some of you all will see it. So we have a question. So does your nonprofit currently have a corporate matching gift process? We just kind of want to see where everyone is at this point in time. So is this something that your organization has considered and is actually trying to pursue, or is this something that you are considering for your organization? And I'll just give it another minute or so, and I'll go ahead and end the poll. Okay, and let me share the results. So hopefully y'all can see, it looks like most everyone here is currently actively trying to get corporate matching gifts, but about 25% of the audience is not currently trying to pursue those. So that's always kind of helpful to see, especially when you're presenting, is knowing the audience. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing that. And Julia, I guess we're ready for you to kick things off.
Perfect. Thanks so much. I'm really excited to be here with you guys today to talk a little bit about employer matching gifts and just a full comprehensive guide to how you can double donations. So like Susan said, my name is Julia. I work at Double the Donation. I'm the partnerships manager over here. So that just means I get to work with all of our different integration platforms like Click and Pledge to bring, matching gift resources, research, expertise to their different clients. And so Double the Donation does provide matching gift automation software to fundraisers, but we also want to serve as a sort of resource hub that specializes in a ton of different matching gift research, education, with the goal of just helping people like you guys take advantage of one of the most common forms of corporate philanthropy. And so really happy to be here today. Thank you so much, Susan, for having me, and excited to dive right in. And so coming into our agenda, I kind of broke this down into 3 parts here. So I want to start by really zooming out and talking about matching gifts as a whole, as an industry, kind of what is the opportunity here today. Sounds like a lot of people already have a process for accepting matching gifts, which is super exciting. So just kind of backing up a little bit, zooming out and talking about what opportunities we have. And then that way we can have the context we need to dive into the best practices, which is the second part of this first portion I have here today, is what are the best ways to capture matching gifts, maybe see if your organization is implementing some of those already, see if there's ways you can refine your existing strategy, and kind of go over the best ways to take advantage of that process. And then the second section I have here is the Click and Pledge matching gift functionality. I'm really excited to talk about a new feature that 360 Match Pro and Click and Pledge have launched within the Click and Pledge platform that's open to all users using the Connect system. So I'm going to go over that a little bit today. I'll also talk a little bit about a separate integration that you can choose to activate with Click and Pledge. All of these things helping you to automate the matching gift process. So really take the best practices that I share during section 1 and find the best ways for you to implement them for your organization with the lowest lift possible. And then, of course, like Susan said, we will have time at the end to answer questions, and there will be someone answering questions throughout the presentation in the Q&A bar. So really excited to read those. If you have any questions at all, I'm always happy to answer them. So please put them in the Q&A section. And now before I dive into our matching gift industry review, I do want to give a little bit of context on the Double the Donation and Click and Pledge partnership in case you're a bit curious as to why Double Donation's been looped in here today. And so we've been partnered for a while now, and through that relationship, Double the Donation is able to offer matching gift services to Click and Pledge clients. I'm sure a lot, if not everyone in this presentation today, work with Click and Pledge already, use their high converting, impressive platform. And so through this relationship, you can add gift matching to this list of offered functionality that they provide you guys. So just to kind of summarize that, I do work for Double Donation as a third-party company, and it provides gift matching tools, research, resources that Click and Pledge users can take advantage of to use more matching gifts. And so getting into our industry review here, we have the obvious question, right, of like, what are matching gifts? Probably everyone here has heard of them, if not received them. We know a lot of people are taking advantage of matching gifts. And these are, of course, a form of corporate philanthropy in which corporations match the contributions of their employees. There's lots of different types of corporate philanthropy. I have the 3 most common listed on my screen here, but matching gifts is definitely the most popular among corporations themselves. And so it seems like a fairly simple process, right? We know matching gifts, the corporation matches the gifts of their employees, but there's actually a little more nuance to it than that. And that's because each of these companies create their own parameters to lay out a structure for donors to follow to get their gift matched. And so you can see here we have a bit about the institution eligibility, matching ratio, employee eligibility, gift amount, program deadlines, all these different components that make up the structure of every matching gift program, but that vary from program to program. And so the first one you'll see I have listed here is eligibility. And so by that, I mean that not all companies match donations to every single nonprofit. So for example, maybe strictly political organizations are sometimes ineligible to receive corporate funds. On the flip side of that, we definitely see corporations matching donations at a higher ratio to maybe nonprofits or different missions that they have a close connection with. And so the matching gift programs that your organization qualifies for might depend on the corporation that runs the program. It's not necessarily this like universal standard of eligibility. And with that being said, most nonprofits do qualify for the majority of matching gift programs, but the qualifications can vary by the corporation themselves. And the reason I bring that up is that later on today, we're going to talk about finding matching gift opportunities with your donors. And so if you work for maybe a political nonprofit or a strictly religious nonprofit, that's definitely something you want to consider as you look at those different matching gift opportunities is, which companies are going to be able to match to your organization and then focusing your efforts on those specific segments. The next component I have here is matching gift ratio. And so we think of matching gift programs as having exact one-to-one matches, right? Like a donor would make a gift for $25 and then their employer would match it for the additional $25. And many companies do match at the one-to-one ratio, but some companies will actually double or even triple their employees' donation. And that can also vary depending on maybe the donor's employment status or even the kind of nonprofits receiving the funds, right? So if we go back to the first one, organization eligibility, we'll sometimes see corporations have special relationships with specific nonprofits, and they actually will match those donations at maybe like a 2-to-1 rate or even 3-to-1. And then the third item I have here is employee eligibility. So some companies will only match gifts from full-time employees. That's kind of what we typically think of, right, when we think of a matching gift program. But that's actually becoming more and more rare as companies' corporate philanthropy efforts improve. So most companies will match both part-time donations, part-time employee donations, as well as full-time. And then some of the best programs even match for retirees or spouses of current or retired employees. So also something you definitely want to be thinking about when you look at matching gift opportunities is that even if you have a lot of donors who are maybe like in an older donor base, maybe they're retired, that doesn't mean that they don't qualify for matching gift programs. There's plenty of corporations that will match to retired employees. And then number 4, we have the gift amount. So every program does set a maximum and minimum donation amount that they're willing to match. And that can also really vary widely depending on program. I will say that most companies set their minimums between $1 and $100, most common minimum being about $25, and then maximums typically ranging between $1,000 to $15,000. I would say the most common one there is around $10,000. So that's always an interesting one that I think sometimes surprises people, that if most Fortune 500 companies are matching gifts up to $10,000, those are sometimes major givers depending on the size of your organization. And so if you have donors that have made a $10,000 gift, and they maybe haven't pursued a gift match, that's definitely something that could be worth your while to try to pursue them as a gift matching opportunity. And then number 5, and this one's very important, program deadlines. So there's always going to be some sort of expiration date around matching gift requests. Many companies will give their employee about a year after the donation to submit their request to be matched, whereas others will set maybe specific dates around end of the calendar year, end of tax season, things like that. And so as we think about matching gifts for your organization and some of the tools that I'll share in the Click and Pledge platform, don't forget that these programs are not all exactly the same. And so therefore your donors are going to be navigating really different guidelines to request a match. But we'll get into the best practices of how to account for these parameters later on. And so now getting into some great news, and that's that matching gifts are everywhere. We see well over half of Fortune 500 companies offering gift matching programs. And that, of course, means that millions and millions of individuals are going to be qualifying to get their gifts matched. And that's not even to mention, the companies who maybe aren't Fortune 500 companies that offer these programs. There's plenty of corporations that are much smaller that are able to match gifts to their employees. And so if you have donors, of course, who work for any one of these companies, then their donations could very easily be doubled, and as we know, sometimes even tripled, without asking the donor for more of their own dollars. And so these donors, obviously they're able to reach back and they're able to make a contribution without reaching back into their own wallets and have this contribution go twice as far through their employer. I also want to note here that matching gifts are not necessarily industry specific. I think if you're kind of just breaking into the corporate philanthropy space, it's easy to assume that maybe only the outwardly advertising social good organizations offer matching gift programs or opportunities like this, but that's definitely not the case. It's not like you have to be, B Corp certified or outwardly marketing your philanthropic efforts to offer a matching gift program. I pulled a ton of different companies just from a quick Google search that offer matching gifts, and it's across all different industries. We have obviously food and beverage, entertainment, tech, banking. It's all over the map that offer opportunities of matching gift programs. And so when you're thinking about maybe your fundraising plans, you want to make sure that you're not excluding certain donors just because they don't work for an org that you typically think of as having these corporate philanthropy efforts that are maybe typically associated with a certain charity or cause or something like that. And so despite the fact that this is this clearly huge industry, right? So it's the most common form of corporate philanthropy across all different industries. We still see organizations really missing out on employer matching gifts. And by that, I mean they're missing out on billions of dollars. There's $4 to $7 billion in matching gift revenue that goes unclaimed every single year. So we know corporations, of course, are offering these funds. We're able to find that information. And we know donors are making donations, but no one's actually tying those donations back to the corporate entities that might match the gift. And when you think about that in regards to your organization, I know it can be a bit shocking to know that these programs are designed for you. There's maybe a bigger opportunity than you previously thought, but you're still missing out on that cash. And so we actually see the average fundraising institution getting less than 2% of their individual contributions in corporate gifts when it really could be closer to 10 to 15%. So why the discrepancy? Why this big disconnect here? And to answer that question, I think we should kind of go back to the matching gift process. And if a donor wants their gift to be matched, they have to, of course, submit their donation to your organization first. And then they have to submit a matching gift request to their employer. So they'd make the contribution, they'd submit their request that tells their employer, maybe the donation amount, the receipt, and then they would have to get the request approved based on those parameters I mentioned before, right? So does it fall in the minimum maximum? Is it within the program deadline window? And then your organization would be able to receive the matching gift fund. And so that second step here of the donor submitting a matching gift request to their employer, that's really where we see the problem lie. We see all the other steps could be accomplished. It's just step number 2 that we're really seeing fall flat. And donors don't submit matching gift requests because they don't know that they qualify for a matching gift program. We see close to 80% of match eligible donors just completely unaware that their employer, offers a matching gift program, much less how to take the steps to actually submit their matching gift request. And remember, I had all those parameters earlier, right? There's these different guidelines that donors have to navigate to get a gift match. And if they don't even know that their program exists, they're really far away from that end goal of being able to actually submit the matching gift request itself and double the donation for you guys. And so that leaves only 7% of match eligible donors submitting a matching gift request, which is a pretty significant number, right? That's of all the people that are able to double their donation, only 7% are actually taking the steps to do that. And so when we think about this, though, that means the lack of donor action is actually a lack of awareness. And if your donors know that matching gift programs exist, they probably are going to be able to be motivated to take the steps to submit the matching gift request. I mean, these are people that obviously care about your organization. They support your mission already. They were willing to give their own money for your organization. So why wouldn't they want to increase their donation amount at no extra cost to them? And this idea that, donors want to submit a matching gift request but maybe don't know how is exemplified through a lot of the research that we do here at Double the Donation. I pulled 3 stats from our database here, and you can see donors are more likely to donate if they know their gift's going to be matched. They're more likely to respond to general fundraising appeals mentioning matching, and they're actually more likely to donate even a higher initial base amount if they know their gift's going to be matched. And like I said, when we think about donor psychology here, this all makes a lot of sense. These are people that care about your mission. They've taken the steps to support you already. They're going to feel happy knowing that their contribution can go twice as far, or as we know, sometimes even triple or quadruple. And something to note here too is that last stat I have about increasing donation amount mentioning matching, this can be really significant for a lot of organizations, because we talked a little bit about the minimums and maximums, right, that corporations are willing to match. If you have a donor that maybe likes to give about $20 to your organization, and then they find out that if they had been giving $25, they would have met their employer's, matching gift guidelines, they could then take that initial $20 gift and turn it into maybe a $50 gift by just giving $25 and then submitting a matching gift request. And so it's important to remember that not only are matching gifts going to be helping you guys earn doubled revenue, through the gift match itself, but that also you can increase the base size of the gift that you have coming in from your donors, which can be really exciting and really impactful for a lot of organizations. And kind of similar to that, I gave the 20 to 25 difference, but sometimes it can be even more. If someone's just thinking that they're not going to make a huge difference anyway, they only want to give a $10 gift or something, but then they find out that if they'd been willing to give 30, it would have been a $60 contribution. That really plays a lot into how they view your organization, how effective they view the range of their own dollar, the range of their own gift. So really important to remember that when it comes to gift matching. And so all of this really to say, if donors want to submit requests and they don't know about the process or how to do that, then the main problem we need to solve is this donor awareness gap. So donors don't know about matching gift programs, but if they were just educated about gift matching, then they consistently show that they're going to take action. And so that's really what I want to cover here in the best practices today. We now know a lot more about the matching gift industry. You know about those different parameters people have to navigate. You know about the ideas that donors might not have about gift matching, the lack of awareness there. So I want to kind of discuss just how you can navigate those roadblocks and make sure that you capitalize on matching gift opportunities. And so something to kind of mention here is you execute your fundraising plan. Consider first, of course, educating donors on matching gifts. That's going to be the really basis of all of the strategies that I provide here today. And then number 2, empowering them to submit their matching gift request. So even if your donors maybe know about matching gift programs, they maybe heard about it at some point through your communication efforts, you want to make sure that they feel really motivated to take the steps to actually submit their request itself. And then number 3, tracking your success. I think anytime, of course, that you want to dive into a new initiative, that you want to ramp up a certain avenue for fundraising, you want to make sure you have a base knowledge of how you're doing now and then be able to see the success as you go. Something really cool also about matching gifts that I want to mention is that they're really easy to inject in your own existing fundraising strategy. I think, of course, if you want to have a huge initiative around corporate philanthropy, you certainly can. But if you're interested in just dipping your toes into the idea of how to raise more money through matching gifts, it can be really simple to take a few steps and kind of add these strategies into whatever you're doing now to raise funds and into your current communication outreach avenues and still see success through employer matching gifts. And so let's dive into all that. The first best practice item I have here is related to capturing employer information, and I call that out specifically on your donation form. So this is important for several reasons. The first is that if you know employer information, you can know which of your donors qualify for matching gift programs, of course. And that allows you to really segment them based on opportunity. So for example, you might not want to spend effort reaching out to a donor about matching gifts if you find out they're self-employed. So you don't want to take time to, do all of these maybe big outreach efforts until you know a little bit more about where your donors work. And then alternatively, maybe you have a donor that works for one of the best matching gift programs and they have a 3-to-1 match and their limit is, 15,000 or something like that. You're going to want them to know about that opportunity. You're going to want to make sure that you educate them about their matching gift program and help them understand the impact that they can make. And maybe even try to encourage them to become a recurring donor more than you would if you didn't know about that matching gift program. And so none of this information is possible in the first place without knowing where your donors work. And as kind of a quick bonus with that, asking your donors about their employer is a great opportunity to engage with them in a valuable way without making a direct financial appeal, without asking them to reach back into their own wallet, which is always a really good idea. And so now, you're probably wondering what's the best way to find employer information, and that's why I mentioned the donation forms. You could spend money on maybe employer pens or do your own donor research, try to scrape LinkedIn, something like that. But I recommend just asking your donors directly, because that's going to give you the most accurate information, of course, and it gives you another communication touch point with people who are really important to your organization. And so the easiest place to do that is directly on your donation form. By simply adding an optional field, asking about where your donors work, you can capture a ton of employer info about these people with a very low lift. And so you'll notice I did mention that it should be optional. Anytime that you ask for additional information from a donor, you might have people that don't want to provide that to you. Maybe they're concerned about, data privacy or something like that, or maybe they are, in the process of searching for a new job. They don't want to enter that information. You don't want to make this a required field on your form. I would highly recommend making it optional so that you don't cause any friction during the donation process. Also, by placing this information on your donation form, you're going to ensure that you capture donors in the giving mindset when they're already in the headspace to really answer questions on behalf of your organization. They're already thinking about you guys in a positive light. And so you want to make sure that you capture them while they're still in that mindset. So all that to say, it's important when thinking about matching gifts that you know where your employers work. And the easiest way to do that is by placing just a simple field directly on your donation form, asking the donor. And so that also really allows you to provide them with a timely call to action, right? And so I have a section here about sending out matching gift emails. And these are really great tools for, I think, a lot of reasons. The first is that matching gift emails allow you to follow up with donors who just gave about their matching gift eligibility. And that will really help you capture them, like I said, while they're still in the giving mindset and while we're still in their program deadline window. You don't want to send out matching gift emails once a year to all of your employees, because what if you just miss someone? What if someone made a gift almost a year ago and then they see your matching gift email just a week too late or something like that? So I definitely recommend sending out matching gift emails after the donation process. These also allow you to contain or to inform them of a little more context that you might otherwise, because if you have this field on your donation form, you might want to say something like, enter your employer to find out about corporate philanthropy opportunities, about matching gift opportunities, something like that. But you definitely don't want a full-fledged novel on your donation form explaining matching gifts or anything like that. So these emails really give you another opportunity to provide a lot of context to your donors and help them understand the matching gift process so that they're then motivated and empowered to actually submit the request itself. You can certainly feel free to use some of the stats I included today, maybe something about 65% of Fortune 500 companies offer matching gifts or something like that, or millions of individuals qualify for matching gift programs. Are you one of them? I think something important to remember though with these is that most people, as we know, have never heard of matching gift programs. So you don't want to give them a call to action that might confuse them or make them think that the call to action doesn't apply to them. So for example, you wouldn't want to say something like, you should ask your employer if they'll match your recent gift, because your donor might think, well, why would my employer do that? That seems like some kind of an unusual ask. And of course, you don't know the relationship maybe your donors have with their employers. You don't know kind of what sort of understanding they have of their existing benefits or company policies, things like that. So I definitely recommend zooming out in a message like this and maybe sharing something along the lines of heard of matching gift programs. This is certainly something that you might qualify for. Here's exactly how you could take the steps to do that. Reach out to your HR person, look in your policy handbook, something like that. Something else to mention with these, and that is that I would recommend sending these after the donation process, but not immediately after. And that might seem like kind of an unusual distinction, right? But you're probably sending some sort of thank you email, right, after the donation, some kind of proof of purchase or confirmation. And you really don't want your donors to confuse a matching gift email with a proof of purchase email. As you can probably imagine, a lot of donors are not opening their thank you emails, or maybe they are, but they're not thinking that it will require any action of them. Whereas your matching gift email, that's a direct appeal. That's a call to action to your donor. So I would recommend sending it maybe 2 hours or so after the gift has been made, when you can still capture the donor while they're feeling philanthropic, still make sure that they know about matching gifts while they're in the window of opportunity there, they're not past the deadline, but not when they might discard that email as a receipt or something like that. And of course, this is all in relation to sending matching gift emails specifically after a donation. You can also certainly include matching gifts in your other communications. Like if you have an email newsletter that goes out, I've seen a lot of really cute appeals that people have put about matching gifts in those, or any kind of online communications. You can always inject a little bit of a matching gift call to action within that messaging as well. I've also seen a lot of people tie, the impact of gifts in matching gift appeals, and I think that's always a great idea. We always use the Cat Rescue Club example here at Double the Donation. That's our mock nonprofit. And so we've made, mock campaigns before of maybe helping 2 kittens receive shelter instead of just 1, something like that, to really help your donors feel motivated about their matching gift request and understand the impact that it can make for your organization. The next best practice I have here today is creating a matching gift page. So this is just a spot on your website designed to tell website visitors a little bit about matching gift programs and ensure they have a trusted source of information to turn to about matching gifts. You'll notice for this initiative too, this is outside of the donation process, which the first 2 initiatives were kind of more linked to the donation process. And that's a great idea to capture people who maybe aren't currently giving, but could still qualify for a matching gift for your organization, or even be motivated to give to your organization because they learn about matching gifts. And so this matching gift page really actually gives you a ton of real estate to talk about matching gifts and explain them to your viewers, your website viewers. And so you can explain maybe, like I said, how they could get their gift match, maybe the idea that so many companies offer matching gift programs that most donors don't actually take action, which results in a ton of money being missed each year. You have a lot of opportunity here to make this appeal really impactful and to give a lot of context to your donors. And like I said too, if someone finds this page, it could certainly inspire giving or even inspire a higher gift amount than they might have been willing to give before they knew about matching gifts. And these pages also really give your donors, like I said, a trusted source of information. If maybe they heard about matching gifts, either through donating to your org or through their own policy handbook at work, you want them to have this source of information to turn to about matching gifts to your organization. You never want someone to be Googling something like XYZ nonprofit and matching gifts and not find your website and instead be directed somewhere else, maybe get distracted, maybe start reading about different corporate philanthropy initiatives, something like that. If someone's curious about submitting a matching gift request to your org, you want to make sure that they know that's something that they should certainly do and that you'd really appreciate it and that you're equipped to handle that. And because you never know too, I mean, there's a lot of confusion around matching gifts for donors. And so it's certainly reasonable that you can imagine someone might think that the matching gift management process kind of comes more from the nonprofit and their employer. So we've actually seen a lot of people search in Google before, does XYZ nonprofit accept matching gift funds? When they should be, searching does my employer match to this organization? But if there's not a lot of clarity there already and there's not a lot of awareness, then it can be really confusing for donors to navigate that process. So having a matching gift page with a ton of context can really give them the confidence they need and make sure that they have matching gifts on their mind when they give to your organization. So that was a lot of different information about, the matching gift industry, about different best practices you can implement, things like that. So now I want to talk a little bit about the click and pledge matching gift functionality that we have here today. And so I'll go into some different ways to automate the matching gift process, make it really simple to implement some of those best practice strategies, and then even some offerings that come automatically with the click and pledge platform, which were newly launched. And so I'm really excited to share them today with you guys. So the first feature I want to mention is the Click and Pledge's new feature that they've released within the Connect platform. And you can see on my screen here, I have a screenshot of the page, and I'm going to pull this up for kind of a live demo in a second as well. But you can see that there's now a matching gift double the donation section within your Connect platform. And so using this page, you can actually look up different employer information and see a ton of matching gift resources about that specific corporation itself. And so this is really helpful when it comes to things like creating a matching gift strategy. And like I know I mentioned before, the idea that you want to see which of your donors qualify for matching gift programs, but that can be difficult to do. Even if you find the information from your donors, you now have a ton of companies that you have to find out, what kind of offerings they have. So on my screen here, I actually have the page pulled up. Like I said, this is in the Connect platform. You can navigate to reports, then matching gifts, then double the donation. And so say, you put this piece on your form of asking donors where they work, and you see a ton of your donors work for the Home Depot. I know I personally am based in Atlanta, so I see the Home Depot everywhere. That's where their headquarters are, and so that's always top of mind for me. So someone could type in the Home Depot, and then you'd get to see a ton of information about that employer matching gift program for that specific company. Or maybe let's say that you have a bunch of donors that work for Microsoft. Maybe a bunch of your donors are in the tech space. You could then see that information as well. So really, no matter what company that you're interested in learning more about, you could search it within your Click and Pledge platform completely for free, just as part of the Connect offering, and be able to see all this information here. Something really valuable about this feature as well is that it actually includes a direct link to the matching gift request form for that organization. So if you're trying to help your donors navigate the matching gift process, having access to a tool like this is really significant because it takes a huge lift out of your workload here when you're trying to think of where to direct them and what to tell them here. So here's like the Home Depot's, page here as well. So you'll also notice that I started to type and that this search field came down, right? These different suggested options. This search field is pulling from Double the Donation's matching gift database of companies that we've gathered. And it takes into account to a lot of different spelling variations. You can see I have a spelling error here. I have 2 E's in home. Maybe unusual like naming conventions. So like if I had Depot, something like that, I could find the Home Depot. Oops, sorry, I've had this pulled up a while. The session's gonna expire. Even if you have a company whose parent company manages their matching gift program, you could find that in this portal as well. And that's really beneficial because if you ask your donors where they work, they might have all different naming conventions for what they're going to be sharing with you. Or maybe they are going to mention, a parent company, a subsidiary company, something like that. And so this functionality can be really valuable for you guys all within the Click and Pledge platform. So that was some info kind of about this new feature that I mentioned. Definitely feel free to check it out yourself. Like I said, you can navigate to the report section of Connect and then go to the Double the Donation section and play around with this tool just as part of the Connect platform. And so that's kind of the initial piece of functionality that I want to mention. Click and Pledge also does integrate directly with 360 Match Pro, which is a matching gift tool that actually works during the donation process. So it's going to be kind of similar to that search bar, but it's going to be embedded a little bit more into the donor experience for this scenario. And so how it works is that a donor would be able to make a gift on a Click and Pledge giving form, and they'd actually be able to identify their corporate match eligibility on that form itself. So they'd be able to enter the name of their company, and then 360 Match Pro would log that information. 360 Match Pro can then send matching gift follow-ups directly after the donation process, with matching gift info to donors, delivering their next steps here. So like, let's say, someone's making a gift on a Click and Pledge form, they enter the Home Depot, 360 Match Pro is going to send them an email with the Home Depot's specific matching gift submission form. 360 Match Pro can then tag and track the donor throughout the giving process so that when they initiated their match, when they opened their matching gift email, what information they entered on the donation form. All of that is being tagged and provided back to your organization. So now I will go through this process in a little bit more detail. I mentioned that Streamline search field on the donation form, similar to the one you saw on the platform, that's going to auto-complete the donor's entry. So if they type in a kind of unusual naming variation, maybe they have some spelling error or something like that on the donation form, they're going to be able to take that into account. And so even if the company isn't in the database, we are going to capture that as a plain text entry and be able to provide that back to your organization. So the result of this is, of course, having this streamlined donation process, this really frictionless process still, while still increasing your matching gift opportunities identified throughout that process. And then post-transaction, donors can receive that matching gift email that I just mentioned, encouraging them to take the next steps, which are linked right in the email. So we're going to send them a direct link to their matching gift submission form. These emails are totally customizable by your organization. So if you want to have, a different image here, you want to control what sending domain they come from, the cadence at which they go out. Maybe you don't want to email recurring donors. Maybe you want to send it 2 hours after the donation or 5 hours. Whatever you want, that customization is fully up to you. And so with these customization options, you have your emails way less likely to be caught in a spam filter, even though they're coming from 360 Match Pro. So 360 Match Pro is making it really easy to automate this process for you, but you have a handle completely on the customization process so that your donors can trust that the email is coming from your organization. And then, of course, like I mentioned, 360 Match Pro does include a lot of information about your donors in regards to the matching gift process. We show both individual transaction records, so you can see, your donor gave X amount, here's where they work, they've initiated their match, they're match eligible, they've opened their matching gift email, all of this information about them throughout the process. And then we also aggregate that data, so you can see, how many match eligible donations do you get, how many donors are opening your emails. All of that is completely summarized within your 360 Match Pro portal as well. And so I'll let you guys check that out really quick. I'm pulling up a click and pledge donation form here. You can see the Cat Rescue Club example once again. And so I'm going to have my donor give a very generous $100. And she would just fill out her click and pledge donation form like normal. Like there's not a ton of information that's going to be changing on this donation form, with the exception of the corporate matching gift field. So I'll kind of jump down there right now. You can see, find out if your employer offers a matching gift program. Your donor could type in the name of their employer. They could have spelling errors, could have unusual naming conventions, and then have, the example of maybe some kind of parent company or subsidiary company. They could enter that and still be directed to the appropriate matching gift information following the donation. So I won't bore you with me filling out the rest of that, and I'll instead just go through very quickly and submit it. And then I have this form linked up to a demo account so we can see a matching gift email that just came to Jenny. So you can see it's still branded to the Cat Rescue Club. We have the 2 kittens in the header image. We have the logo here. It says, "Dear Jenny, we're excited to let you know that your donation of $100 is eligible for a matching gift from the Home Depot. It's easy to submit a matching gift request. Just click here to get started." Jenny could click on that email and she's taken to the Home Depot's matching gift submission form. Jenny can also let you know that she submitted her matching gift request. We know that corporations manage matching gift programs, and so sometimes there's a long delay between when a donor actually submits their request and when the nonprofit gets the payout. So Jenny can make that process a little bit easier for you by indicating she submitted her matching gift request. And then these emails can also contain just a wealth of matching gift information here as well, summarizing the donor's specific matching gift program, and even giving the contact information of who they can talk to about their matching gift program. I know that's sometimes a really big value add for people who handle donor communication, that if they've gotten, a lot of questions about matching gifts in the past, it can be really nice to provide them directly with the information of their company who actually manages the matching gift program. So really a ton of opportunities within these matching gift emails. The number one being that it makes it so easy for your donor to just kick off the matching gift process right from the email with no manual follow-ups needed. And so now I'll just kind of quickly pull up an example of a 360 Match Pro dashboard. So here is a demo account linked to the Cat Rescue Club as well. And we can see some of these individual transaction records that I mentioned here. So here is my recent gift of Jenny Taylor making her $100 gift. And we know that she works for the Home Depot because she entered that information on her donation form, right? And if you, as the nonprofit within your portal, want to see more info about this program, you can see it within 360 Match Pro, and as we know, within the Click and Pledge platform as well. So that's some great information about her company, about its matching gift program. You can see it has matching gift program and the forms are available. Some people even have a volunteer grant program, so we have that listed here as well. And then now I want to talk a little bit about the matching gift status. So we can see that Jenny actually initiated her match, which is really cool. And it knows that because Jenny clicked the button in her email that said go to matching gift request form. So we know that Jenny's been interacting with the email. We're tracking the clicks here. And then you'll see some of these even say donor verified. So the donor did verify via their email as well. You'll also see that Jenny opened her email and that she has another email scheduled to be sent, which the nonprofit could configure within their 360 Match Pro portal. And even that I've used this email address quite a lot. So I have some of my other emails disabled because there's some settings in here about, you don't want to send someone too many emails if they're a recurring donor or something like that. All of that is completely customizable within the 360 Match Pro portal. So I know that was a lot of information about the platform itself. I'm going to kick it back over to Susan to see if you wanted to talk a little bit about where people can maybe find some more information about the Click and Pledge platform, or about this integration or other matching gift resources.
Absolutely. And I do see that questions are coming in, so please feel free to put your questions in. Our team will be happy to address them. And there may be some that we address at the end of the session. Let me share my screen, just one moment. Okay, hopefully everyone is seeing my screen here. Julia, thank you so much. You just do such a great job. And again, I had kind of an aha moment during your session, like, because I spend a lot of time looking at our customers' donation pages, and we do have the ability for our customers to put in custom questions on their donation pages, and I don't see a lot of organizations adding that field for, who is your employer. So, I thought that was, excellent advice to add that. I just wanted to point out to everyone, just to make sure everyone knows how to locate. Now Julia pointed out the new integration that we have with Double Donation. When you log into your account, you start off in your fundraising area of your account. To navigate to the area that has the new integration with Double the Donation, you're going to go to the launcher, and then you're going to go to transactions and reports. And then you'll see it right here in this matching gift area. So everything that Julia just pointed out, it's going to be in here. I also wanted to point out here, we've had a few people in the Q&A area asking about that additional integration that we have with 360 Match Pro. There is the link to schedule a demo is right in here, and you will notice that there is a 10% discount on their 360 Match Pro subscription as a Click and Pledge customer. So if you are interested in learning more about that, you can sign up there, and be sure to mention that discount because you are a Click and Pledge customer. So that's where this is located. As far as you do need to be a admin user on your Click and Pledge account to view this area. So just want to let everybody know that. Now, if you are interested in that additional integration that with 360 Match Pro, that is going to be, you're going to add that into the settings area. So when I click on settings and I go to the third-party integrations, and again, we have lots of different third-party integrations to hopefully help you be more efficient and maximize donations, but it's going to be listed right in there. So you're going to go to the Double Donation area, and from there, and this is just a screenshot, very simple process to activate that integration. You're just going to click on that little checkbox, put in your API public key in there, and click submit. And once you do that, then you're going to be able to add those additional fields to your donation forms so that you can have that, essentially the Double Donation database within your form, so people can look up their employer in there. And then once you do that, you do need to go back to the fundraising area, because then you can add the integration to specific campaigns. So when you go back to your fundraising area and you click on a campaign, you'll go to campaign details. And again, in your third-party integration in there, this is where you're going to activate it. So you're going to say any donation form, right? The payment form, whether you're using peer-to-peer, just a donation form on your web page, is now going to have those Double the Donation fields on the donation form. So I just wanted to point out those areas to everyone. Now, we did have a question where somebody said, they didn't know where to add. If you're not going to be using that 360 Match Pro integration, you can add custom questions to your donation page. So this is where you would add that. Essentially, it's a two-step process. You create a section. So you might name your section matching gifts, and then you add your custom question underneath it. So you could just essentially have a field in there, like a text box field, and they could just type in any response in there. So I just wanted to point that out to everyone as well. Another popular question that we get during these webinars is this being recorded? Yes, we are recording this webinar, so we will have it on our knowledge base. It does take a little bit to upload that, but it will be available. And everyone that's attending this webinar, when you receive the email from Zoom tomorrow, thank you for attending, there will be that link in that as well. So you will have that. And also do remember on our knowledge base, if you go to Click and Pledge and click on support and resources, we have articles on all this in here. So, don't feel like you have to catch everything during this webinar. You can always refer to a knowledge base article or, contact our support team as well if you have any additional questions. All right, so that's all I wanted to cover as well. And I know there's a lot of questions still coming in. Oliver, have you had a chance to look at the questions to see?
I have. Yeah, we've gotten some really good ones. I can just start going through them and we can answer them live if you'd like. The first one that I wanted to throw out there from Rachel was, what % of companies that offer matching gifts have a program for retired employees? I think this is going to be best for you, Julia.
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually pulled up some info while you were speaking, Susan, because I saw a couple questions about the database. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I don't know if I have right on hand the info about retired employees in the database. I do know that we have some real-time analytics updated here. So we have a ton of info about the matching gift companies within our database. So I'm sure I can talk to my team about finding a bit more details about the % of retired employees, if you don't mind if I follow up with you after the presentation. But kind of in the meantime, I do have these analytics pulled up here on our matching gift database. So you can see the total number of company records, the amount of employees that represents, and of course, the estimated coverage of all match eligible donors, which is listed here as well.
And what about another question from Rachel is, do smaller companies that offer matching gift, are they potentially not in the double the donation system? Like, how do companies register to be in your database?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the vast majority of companies that do offer a matching gift program, whether that's big or small, they're going to be found in our database. If you do find a company that maybe has a newer matching gift program, or they're like a very small corporation in the first place, then they can either self-submit themselves online. We sometimes have donors reach out to us and let us know about the information, and we have a full-time database team that kind of scrapes info online about that, the different types of matching gift programs. So yes, there's certainly an avenue for corporations to be added. And our team is always looking for those smaller ones as well to include them in our database. It's a great question.
Another one from Rachel, for the 360 Match Pro integration, do automated emails only go to donors who enter a match eligible company in the donation form?
Yeah, so right now with the Click and Pledge platform, the emails are only going to match eligible donors. If you're interested in having that feature, that's also something I could follow up with you on for sure, about different ways to kind of automate that, maybe through a CRM, or talking about ways to eventually do that with the Click and Pledge platform. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So I think that covers it for all the open questions. Was there anything in the already answered section that a teammate would like to highlight that you think would be good for everyone to hear?
I think just as I kind of look through these questions, so it sounds like we're all on the same page, but just to clarify that we have that search field now in the Click and Pledge Connect platform, and you could ask your donors for that, their employer info, and then manually enter that into the option within the Connect platform. or then you could upgrade to 360 Match Pro, which would kind of handle that process for you. So just to kind of highlight the specifics between the differences in case there is any confusion there, those are kind of the differences between the two options that we have.
Awesome. So I'll pass it back to you all. I don't see any new questions coming back in.
All right, cool. Thank you guys so much. I have some info on the screen here if you want to hear a bit more about 360 Match Pro or just have questions about matching gifts in general. The Double the Donation team is always happy to answer them. And I'm also happy to stay on a couple more minutes in case anyone thinks of any last minute questions.
Okay, and I'm kind of monitoring the new questions, and I don't see any more coming in. So we'll just give it one more minute. But again, Julia, we certainly appreciate it. This has been a really good session. Yeah, and I don't see any more. If anyone, last call for questions. And then we had, just to ask you, we had someone mention that they weren't sure if they had, that they've been with Double Donation for a long time, but they weren't sure if they had the 360 Match Pro integration or not. Is that something that they should contact you all to discuss that?
Yeah, so we do have a legacy solution, and if you're interested in updating to the one that we shared today, can certainly talk about that. Or if you think you have a subscription but maybe aren't sure if you have it activated or not sure if it's working correctly, then yeah, definitely reach out to our team and we will make sure that you're all up and running.
Okay, great. All right, I think that covers everything. So again, oh, did one just pop in? Let me just double check.
I'm
Okay.
seeing some questions maybe about the pricing with a 10% off discount. Do you mind if I take those right now?
Please,
I can go
yeah.
ahead and speak to that. Yeah. So 360 Match Pro does offer a sliding pricing scale, and we do that because, of course, nonprofits are going to have different usage from the platform. So it's kind of based on the amount of records that you're passing into 360 Match Pro. And so if you're interested in getting that 10% discount through Click and Pledge, you would talk to the Double the Donation team directly, but all you have to do is mention that you use Click and Pledge, and our team is aware of the discount, and we're happy to apply that to whatever pricing quote that we give you based on the size of your organization. So have that flexible pricing to make sure nonprofits of all sizes are able to access these features. And then you can get the 10% discount by simply mentioning that you use Click and Pledge.
Mm-hmm. And again, it sounds like someone's having a support type question as well with their, I think probably a good thing, Tammy, for your question. We probably need to get with you if you have a specific question for your form. So that's something. Let's, if you could direct that question to our support team, we'll look at it first. And then if there is something else with Double Donation, we can send that question that way. But Tammy, that's a very specific question for your organization. We'll look at that after this webinar today. Let's see. Okay. I think we've covered everything. Team, I don't know if anyone sees anything that I've missed. But I think we are good.
Yeah, this sounds great. And like I said, if anyone has any last minute questions, definitely reach out to partners at doublethedonation.com. We do have a really robust support team. So every client has their own onboarding and support specialist. So if you have any questions specifically about your existing subscription or maybe about how to get started, definitely reach out to us. Okay, great. All right. Thank you again so much, everyone, for joining us today. I hope this was well worth your time. Like I said, I know I learned a couple new things today. We hope everyone has a great rest of the day. And again, a big thank you to you, Julia, for coming and providing this information. Of course. Thanks so much for having me. It was great to be here. All right. Everyone, take care and have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.